Coming in a little under 33 feet, the Reflection 150 Series 295 RL is an incredible fifth wheel. Has a great design, dual opposing slides, really open this space up, give you a center island. You have pantry, big appliances, really everything that you could want and need while still being very towable. So let's actually start off right over here on the campside slide. There's some things that I really like that Grand Design has done. So first of all, as you can see, this is set up for 4 people here. You have the bench on one side, the 2 seats on the other. Now, the bench itself can actually slide out. You can take it over to where your sofa is. And as you can see, it's an ottoman that raises up. So if you want to, put a tablecloth on this or something, or, and sit at the couch and eat, you can do that. I like this feature. It's nice. It also gives you easy access to blankets or whatever else you want to store in there. The other cool thing about that is that if it's over there, you can take one of these chairs, put it over here, or leave this here, either way. But if it's just going to be 2 of you and you don't need all this table space, you can actually pull this lever down here, pull the table out, flip it around, and put it back like so. And now it takes up a little less space, and it can be just 2 people. Kind of, again, especially if that ottoman bench is over here, really opens that space up. Then right next to that's going to be theater seating. That, of course, is directly across from the TV, exactly where you want it to be. Nothing too crazy, right? There's not going to be any frills. It's not powered, anything like that. You just have your little pull cord here, and then it will recline just like so. It is going to be a wall hugger, which is nice. Thomas Paine collection, so that is going to be by Lippert. Pretty standard furniture for the industry. The thing I do like about this, though, is you don't have to, with the powered ones, right? You essentially have to either have shore power or a generator to be able to use those, or an inverter, because they run off 120. With these, you don't have to have this. You don't have to have shore power to be able to use those theater seats. I do like that, especially because this one is built to be a little more towable. In the back is going to be our sofa. Again, very classic rear living setup, right? Theater seats across the TV, sofa in the back. And why wouldn't you, right? Why break a good thing? This is a great setup. This also, of course, is a tri-fold sofa, so that folds out into a nice big bed for some additional guests. You have end tables on both sides, which I certainly appreciate, and storage space there as well. So that's always good. Plus, if you look at the bottom of those, you will see that our electrical outlets down there too. So if your guests need to charge cell phones, or you do, or whatever, you can. You'll see blackout roller shades all the way around. So that way, if not only give you privacy, but if you want to keep it a little bit darker in here during the day, you can do that. Storage all across the top here with some LED lights there as well. Now, if we get over into the kitchen slide out, you can see the entertainment system. As I said, TV here, storage on both sides. Right in the center is going to be the multimedia center there. That does have an HDMI pass-through, so if you want to plug something into that, you certainly can. Right down underneath, again, some more storage space. You have the pull-out drawer here, which is kind of nice. And then you have the fireplace down underneath. And that is going to be a little under 5,000 BTU, so it is essentially an electric space heater as well. But again, you will have to have a shore power generator or inverter to be able to run that. Now we move into the kitchen itself. Man, oh man, oh man. I cannot say enough about having a pantry. Love having a pantry. In a fifth wheel, you get so much extra storage in here, especially if you're planning on spending any time. This is a great feature. Also has the motion sensor light, as you saw. So when you open it up, that pops on. It does have kind of like the tinted glass. I don't necessarily love that, just because, I don't know, my pantry usually isn't the cleanest, right? It's kind of a mess. I don't want everyone seeing in there. I would have preferred if it was frosted out completely, but again, very, very minute thing. Definitely not a deal breaker. Let's get into the kitchen islands, because this is going to be one of the best parts about this floor plan. You get a ton of prep space here. I love, love, love how much space they give you on both sides of the sink. It is going to be a pressed countertop, which allows you to undermount the stainless steel bowl. Pressed countertop is going to be kind of like middle of the road, right? So it's going to be a step above your T-mold, but not quite as nice as solid surface. But it definitely is, it is a little bit lighter weight, which is important when we're talking about something. They claim this can be towed by a half ton. It's going to be pushing it because of the pin weight, but that's completely up to you. Always verify what your truck can not only tow, but also the payload capacity, what it can haul. That being said, this one does have the high-rise pull-out faucet, which is nice. No, is it not a pull-out? Yes, it is. I swear. There we go. I was going to say, I swear it was. So you have the pull-out faucet on there, which is always great. A pretty good lock on there too, it seems. And if we drop down underneath, you'll have your silverware drawer already divided up there for you, which is great. And then one of my favorite things is to have a spot for a trash can, especially when it's a dedicated drawer. It's exactly what they give you. And you still have plenty of space underneath the sink for any, cleaning chemicals or anything else you want to toss in there, plus more drawers over here. The one thing I will say that in my mind is missing is a light fixture above the kitchen island here. It's bright enough, but if it's dark and I'm not getting any light from inside, we have most of the windows closed. It's just not quite enough light for me for prep space. I would have liked another light feature coming in here. During the day, it is kind of nice because I have this max air fan, and that does bring let in a little light there. That also works really well if you need to get smells and stuff out. But again, we're just like a little more light. Same thing right over here. There aren't any built-in lights, so I currently have the bottom of the microwave light on, but it's just not enough for me. I need a little bit more light when I'm cooking. Again, not going to be a deal breaker, but wish they would have installed those. You will see an electrical outlet on both sides, so that is really nice for any extra appliances, coffee makers, things like that. Gives you some options. Recessed 3-burner cooktop with the glass cover, plus the oven underneath. And then again, storage all the way around. I'll open up just to kind of give you an idea, right? Good sized drawer there. Kind of same thing underneath, some pretty decent storage size there, as well as the storage underneath. So great storage kind of all throughout the kitchen. Something else I thought was an interesting design choice. If you notice, the cabinet doors are going to be soft close, but your drawers are not. The drawers don't have that soft close feature. So I thought that was a little interesting. Usually manufacturers will go like, drawers over cabinet doors are all in one, but just be aware of that. I probably should mention microwave right up top, right? Pretty standard stuff there. Nice big microwave like you'd expect in this level of fifth wheel, and then storage on both sides. Opening up the fridge freezer here, you can see that you have pretty good cold storage in this one. I don't have any complaints there. Getting a little bit bigger wouldn't have been bad, but again, for what this one is for this price point, this I think is a great size, and I think it'll do exactly what you need it to do. Then we kind of come over to the hutch area. Again, the same backsplash we saw in the kitchen. You can also see electrical outlets on both sides of that. Storage all the way across the top here, which is awesome. You'll also see right up here, this one does have the built-in Wi-Fi. Now, if you want to be able to use that, no matter where you are, you obviously have to get a service plan, some kind of cellular plan. But the fact that it does come with that is pretty nice for those that want the internet during your travels. Again, more storage all the way around here. Center drawers are pretty usable too. I think they did a pretty good job kind of overall. Again, great living space. I think they hit a lot of things. I think the table's great. The setup, you can never go wrong with the rear living floor plan. And then as we kind of come up the stairs, they did some really good things here too. One of them is the fact they give you a courtesy light on the step, so that if you have guests staying out here on the sofa and they have to use the bathroom, they're not going to trip. Same thing if you're coming out. And they give you the handrail here. I always appreciate when manufacturers have a built-in handrail. Over to this side is the bathroom, and they did this right too by doing a pocket door. Too many manufacturers will have one that swings open, and you kind of do this weird dance depending on what side of the door you're on when you're trying to get into the bathroom, because the door takes up the whole hallway. The pocket door there is definitely a much better option. Kind of taking a look here, this is going to be our sink top and vanity. Again, pressed countertop. Because it's pressed, I would have liked to have seen this undermounted. It's just like kind of an inexpensive composite sink. I think it just would have looked a lot classier to have it undermounted than what it is right now. Again, not a deal breaker, just a small point. You do get some decent storage here. You can see your toilet paper holder wherever you want to install that. Then you also have, again, a courtesy light right here that is going to be motion sensor. Same thing, same reason we talked about with the steps. Towel ring is already installed. You have mirrored medicine cabinet, good storage on that. Shower here over to the side. This one does have an on-demand water heater, a tankless water heater. So you basically have unlimited hot water. And even though it doesn't have a skylight, it does kind of still have a cutout with an LED light in there, which I honestly prefer because, that way if I'm showering at night, I can still see, and I have plenty of headroom here. I'm at 6 foot tall, not even close to being an issue. Comes with the shower door. I can, I can be sideways in the shower like I want to be and shower normal. The shower head is nice and high too. Then over here in the corner is going to be our toilet. Porcelain bowl, as you'd expect in a nicer fifth wheel like this one here. That way it's nice and easy to clean. You get your towel bar up there, plus a second mirrored medicine cabinet right back here, which is kind of cool, right? Excellent spot to be able to put some additional linens and additional items like that. Now, kind of coming up into the front is going to be the bedroom. Now, because this one is a mid-profile, right, which essentially means, as you can see, if you kind of follow the roof line, it dips down in the front. They do that a lot for weight reasons to help reduce a lot of weight. But because of that, there's also the step here. And if you notice, if I step up, right, you're definitely not going to be able to stand up all the way up front. And that is very common of mid-profiles. But just know that, with the bed, you're basically going to have to get in from the bottom or kind of duck down and get in from the side that way. I do like the wall sconces on both sides. I haven't really seen a lot of other manufacturers do that. And I think it's a nice, classy look. Does a really good job of lighting it up rather than having like, the small little reading lights that are up here that most use. I think that's, again, just a much more aesthetic option. Electrical outlets like you'd expect, as well as USB ports, shelf there to be able to set your electronics on, storage all the way across the top there. Underneath the bed, you have additional storage as well, and it is strut supported, so it's nice and easy to access. And then right behind me here, open this up. So you have wardrobe space right here. So not only do you have the storage on the sides, but the major wardrobe will be there. That is lit. And then you have a couple of drawers underneath, as well as a cutout. So if you want to put like, some house slippers or something in there, you can. Again, kind of a barn style door, which is nice. Not quite a pocket door because you don't have a wall here, but it is a sliding door. And then on both sides, you are going to have windows. The last thing I want to touch on is you also have a second AC here in the bedroom, which is nice. That is tied into the ductwork. So that way they kind of work in unison to keep everything nice and cool. All right, let's take a look at the outside of the 2025 Reflection 150 Series 295 RL. You have the beautiful front cap here. Of course, that is going to be painted a light right here as well in case you're hooking up at night. But the star of the show up front is going to be the Curt Turning Point Kingpin. Why? Well, essentially what they do is they take this whole thing and they move it forward. By doing that in conjunction with having a cutback right here, it gives you a better turn radius. So you can get basically 90 degrees with your tow vehicle without damaging it, and that is fantastic. Dropping down underneath, they did something else I really like. Sometimes for me, it's the small things. This front compartment, first of all, it is slam latch, which I really like, but the bigger thing for me is that it's strut supported. Far too often, manufacturers just have a clip right up here and you have to clip it, and half the time it falls and hits you in the head, especially if you bump the door. It's a pain, quite literally, so I do appreciate the struts. Taking a look in here, you'll see how nice and clean everything is. A couple things I want to point out. One of them is right here. You have your MPPT 60 amp solar charge controller. Love that it's 60 rather than 30. In combination with that, you have 180 watts of solar up on the roof. You'll see the solar prep disconnect right there as well, plus the distribution box over to the side. That's what this guy is. You have a disconnect built into that as well. And you can also see you have inverter prep on this bad boy. Of course, our battery box is located in there too. Kind of coming out, you'll see this one does have the ground control 3.0 auto level, touch a button, level itself out. Love that. Really makes setup a whole heck of a lot easier. Taking a look up top, you will see not one, but two power awnings because you have one built into the slide out. So basically this whole side has awning coverage, making it great usable camp space. Another thing I want to point out is the fact that you have the side cameras. Those are really nice for when you're going down the road. Well, it's prep rather, sorry, side camera prep. But if you do have that installed, it's really nice when you're going down the road. You just have that extra visibility, right? I do really enjoy those. Coming back a little bit further, of course, propane tank, right? Open it up, just kind of show you that. Pretty basic there. You'll have a 30-pounder on this side, another one on the other side. Taking a look at our garage storage. I do like that it has like a textured floor, so stuff isn't going to be moving around quite as much. I also like the fact that you have this little opening. So if you do plug anything in here and you want it outside, you can just drop it right here. That way you don't have to constantly open and close the door, which is really nice and convenient. You also see a motion sensor light in there, and they did a good job with the plumbing, basically not having anything coming down vertically, right? That's going to kind of cut off your space. Everything is nice and horizontal and tucked away up top. Same thing, slam latch baggage doors, nice, big, heavy duty, magnetic catch as you would expect. Making our way down a little bit further, get into the steps. You have the more ride step above steps on here. Excellent step system. Easy to adjust the legs as well. There's just this lever right here. You can push this lever in, and that will allow you to slide it in and out until you find the point you want it at. You can do that on both sides. Very, very easy system. You also have the larger extendable grab handle. I like that they put this, they even put it on the 100 series, which is pretty impressive in my eyes. Just it is a little bit more expensive, but it does give you just a few more connection points, just gives you a little bit more control. Window in the door, of course, to let in some natural light, which is great. And if we take a look at the slide outs, one of the things I do like to point out is the fact that you have laminated sidewalls on the slide outs. That's something that isn't super common in the industry, so I do like to see that. You have that here as well as on the rear wall. Something else I want to point out is if you like to grill, right underneath there is a propane quick connect. So if you have like a Blackstone grill or something like that, you can fire it up and make some bacon, make everyone jealous. All right, let's drop down, talk a little bit about the wheels as well as towing. So you will see these have Goodyear Endurance tires on there. Love to see that. 225/75, 15-inch radius tires. You also see the fact that these ones have the Lippert ABS. That's, we take ABS for granted. It's on all of our cars, but it's not very common on RVs. It is really nice to have it on there for that extra control. You also see the MoRide CRE 3000 suspension system that gives you 3 inches of travel. The other thing I do want to point out, this one does come with the TireLink tire pressure monitoring system as well. So that way, you can travel with that confidence and that peace of mind. If you want an outside TV, right here are your hookups. And coming back a little bit further, you'll see that this one does have the rear-mounted ladder, 300-pound capacity, so you can climb up onto the fully walkable roof. You also see that this one has backup camera prep, so you have the side camera prep plus backup camera prep. And as we drop down, this one does have your hitch. The thing I like about this one is it's not just for accessories if your state allows what they call the train, which means you have your tow vehicle, the fifth wheel, and then something else behind it. This one is capable of towing 5,000 pounds. You have the 4-way flat on there. So ideally, if you have a boat, something like that, you can tow it behind. Again, make sure you are checking your local laws. I also do want to mention the spare tire is there. In order to access that, it's actually on the other side we just came from, but it's always worth mentioning that this one does come with the spare. All right, let's take a look at the utility side here. So we have a 50 amp detachable power cord. Of course, our furnace is going to kick out there. We also have the tankless water heater, the Furion. Then moving up, we get into the convenience of the wet bay, whatever you want to call it. This one also has the outside shower. Then you have the Nautilus system for any kind of winterization here, as well as going in between your power fill or gravity fill. And then right down underneath that, you'll see this one has insulated valve bodies. I love that for some cold weather camping. Good insulation on this coach too. We'll hit on that in just a second. You can also see the black tank flush is going to be located right over here, and the auto level will be right there. But as far as the insulation, I did just want to hit on the fact that this one does have double insulated front cap, as well as the roof and the floors. So not only do you have your standard insulation in there, but it's going to have a layer of the radiant foil as well. Again, so this one is going to be capable of camping in some colder temps. If you're interested and you would like price and availability, there is a link in the description. Thanks for watching. I'm Ian Baker, and until next time, we'll see ya.